Hi guys, great to be here with you today. I don't know if you've ever looked at people on TV, in films or on the news or wherever and thought they've only got where they've got because of their looks. And I think there's no other way they could have been successful and there's no other reason for it. Although I'd like to think that doesn't really happen. And I'm sure people get where they get because of their talent and hard work they put into things. And at first glance, Esther might be someone you put in that category as well. Someone who becomes successful because of her good looks. But you'd be mistaken to think that about Esther. There's so much more to Esther than what meets the eye. Chapter 2 is when Esther makes her first appearance in the book of Esther. Last week King Xerxes got rid of his last queen, although no one really remembers her. And he was on the hunt for a new queen. He sent out across his whole realm people looking for the most beautiful women they could find from among them. Xerxes would choose a wife from them to replace what's her name. And after all these women were found, they went through a whole year of having beauty treatments. I mean, I've never had any beauty treatments. Well, none that I'd like to admit to anyway. But how great is that? A whole year being pampered. If you take that alone, that sounds pretty good. Obviously not bringing up the fact that these young women left their homes, either taken or voluntarily, and moved away from their families, but that's something for another day. Esther 2 tells us that Esther was one of these women. She was young and very beautiful, and she had the chance to become queen, going through a whole year of pampering, all because of her good looks. People might have looked at her being pampered and become jealous, thinking that she's only there because of what she looks like. She shouldn't deserve this kind of treatment, although this is assuming that the situation Esther was in was as good as it sounds. But Esther 2 tells us that she won the favour of the people in charge of her, won the favour over all the other women, and when it came to her turn to meet King Xerxes, she won his favour too. Esther was described as having a lovely figure and was beautiful, which would have played a part, but that wouldn't have played the whole part. What I think played a big part was the way she was. The way she conducted herself, the way she acted. It doesn't give us much detail in the Bible, but I'm sure that her looks were not the only thing that made her stand head and shoulders above the other women. I think that Esther would have stood out because of her actions. In fact, the Bible doesn't even record Esther opening her mouth yet. I think Esther's actions were the reason she got where she was. She didn't just get where she was because of her looks. And it makes me think, do our actions make us stand out? Can we show that we are different to others because of the things we do? I'm reminded of what it says in the book of James in chapter 2 verse 26 at this point, that faith without deeds is dead. It's like, if we didn't open our mouths, would people still be able to see our faith? Being a Christian is more than just what we say. It's about how we live and how we live out our belief in Jesus. So, do your actions make you stand out like Esther? Faith is more than just words. Without deeds, faith is dead. Let us show our faith through our deeds and let people see the difference that Jesus makes in our lives.